Hey guys, FilthyRobot here, continuing our playthrough of EU4 with Arumba. Getting smashed by Muscovy right now.
Well, Novgorod is.
Yeah.
Novgorod in Lithuania.
And our
We're
army,
we're not.
anytime we engage, we're getting smashed right now.
Well, is that really true though? I mean, go to the actual war overview thing, to look at the war, and just, if you look at any battle that we participated in, it hasn't been that bad. We won two battles in Olonets. We
Wait,
won
how are you seeing this? So I have that menu open. Are you scrolling? Okay.
yeah, at the
So,
bottom of the
oh,
screen
yeah,
is a
okay.
battles
Yeah,
summary.
yeah.
There's only one battle that we lost, and
And that was the one that decided the war, I think, is how you said it.
yes, but I don't think, if I remember correctly, that was the battle that decided the war. That was where Novgorod lost. They had like three horrible rolls in the first 3 or 4 phases.
Yeah.
And then we didn't even get there in time to really do anything.
Yeah.
So it says 22,394 and it shows Scottish, but that doesn't mean that those were all our men. We don't even have that many men, first off. That's just the total number of troops that were in the battle. And apparently we had the majority of the troops, which is why it's listing our flag. But we didn't lose much. We haven't done that poorly yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, if that's maybe that's the benchmark for doing poorly, then it's different than I was expecting. I felt like losing a bunch of troops repeatedly is not doing well. But
Well,
perhaps
if you look at our situation here, we've got positive cash flow while at war with a fully maintained army, and we're
yes,
at 50% manpower.
yes,
So if we were at peace right now, we would actually be looking to go to war. We're in a pretty good position. We're not weak.
okay,
We're just choosing to pretend like the war is not happening.
got it.
We've so yeah.
And as we were talking about between episodes, once this war ends, we will probably drop our alliance over this way.
Yeah. Yeah, Novgorod's going to continue to get weaker. If they lose their first war to Muscovy, they almost always end up losing the second and third wars.
Yeah,
And
let's not get dragged into those. We can't have any
Yeah.
real impact.
yeah, I'm just not sure though if Sweden's even going to declare their independence war. I'm actually starting to think, and I know you're going to think that it's funny here.
Yep. This is
It's-
recalculating.
We got to recalculate. Yeah, yeah. Where's the GPS voice? Recalculating.
That's right.
Taking a look at the truce timers. Hover over the alert at the top of the screen right now. You can see that our truce with England is expiring in 66. That's in 3 more years, and it's not even 3 years because it's February of 66. We're like 2 years and 3 months away.
Yeah.
So what I was hoping we could possibly do is actually get our army back, declare war on Clanricard, Connaught,
Yeah.
have him pull in Kildare, take care of those 2-1 province miners
And then go after
before the
England.
truce is up, and then we'll be ready to go for England. So I'm
See,
sure
I like
think we
that.
should
That sounds really good to me.
move our army home would be a better plan. But if we're going to do that, we got to stop supporting the independence of Sweden, because otherwise we could potentially get called into a war we don't want to be in. We gave them a chance. It's their fault. They should have declared.
Yeah.
Bunch of dummies.
Tell me, so how do I get to the missions tab when it's not a pop-up right now?
F18
F1
is yours. It's your missions and decisions.
Oh, okay, it's actually one of the ones in here. Okay, cool. I didn't realize it was still in there. So, the only thing is, I would really like that Kildare mission.
Well, we already have a claim on it, so really the only thing that the mission would do is there's 2 types of missions. One of them is efficient integration, which reduces makes the autonomy decay a little bit faster, and then the other one is the 10% national manpower modifier for 10 years.
Oh,
That one is really good, but
okay.
yeah. How quickly could we get proper fleet done? Let's
Depends
see,
on our gold supply, right? So
75% of 29, so 29 times 0.75. We need 22 ships minus the 17 we have. We've got to build 5 more ships, and we have none in queue. So we need 100 gold.
okay,
We have 27.
yeah, it's a little bit disturbing.
Now, if you want to play greedy, what we could do is we're not at war with anyone with a navy that could contest us. I think this is the game plan we should choose. We should break our support independence with Sweden right now, so that we don't have to worry about Denmark's navy suddenly killing our transports. Send our transports over, start ferrying the troops back, and since we've decided already to stop participating in the war, just lower our military maintenance now.
Okay.
We could cut our army maintenance budget in half, saving us like 2 ducats a month.
Okay.
And we could potentially finish this naval mission a little bit quicker.
Okay.
So yeah, all right, let's do it then.
All right, so I'll do the military one because I can't remember. I want to go find out where that was again, and that's under the economy tab, and I can grab the maintenance, army maintenance to 0. Okay, done.
Yep. I just pulled the transports off.
Excellent.
And let's tell the army to march down to closer sea tile before we give them the command to retreat home.
Okay,
Now,
so
very important.
end
support independence.
I can just click
Yeah.
that. No penalties with them.
Nope.
Okay.
They'll be
done.
upset. No more upset than they would have been had we not supported them in the first place. You
Okay.
know, every time they ask and then you say no, they get pissed. But
Okay.
yeah, if you hover over their opinion right now, they're at broke support independence treaty -50, coming back at 1.4 per year. Well,
Fuck, I don't remember where that is. Where do I see the opinion of them?
just right click on Sweden and then go and check out their actual opinion of us. So you like right click and then at the top, slightly to the right of like where the ruler would be.
Still says friendly for me.
Yeah, they're friendly, but the actual number itself is now 61. And if you hover over the
Yeah.
61, you can see broke support independence treaty -48.
Okay.
It actually
Well,
just
we have a
recovered
free-
by 1 tick.
We have a free
Already.
diplomat. We could go increase our relationship with them, try to get it up again in case we wish to post next war with England, try to support Swedish independence again.
They would already accept. It's still got a green check. There's functionally no reason to even do it.
All right.
We already have a diplomat there who's just been on maintenance duty because we've been lazy.
Oh, okay.
Let's bring him back.
Okay.
I think we should go back to spying on England.
Yep.
We should do real quick. This is actually kind of important. We remember how long ago we got those claims on the Irish miners.
Yeah.
If you go click on those provinces and hover over in the actual province interface, you can see right in the center-ish, it shows cores and claims, culture, and religion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at like Clan Ricard right now, and it shows Kildare considers this to be one of her core provinces. And then there's another little icon saying Scotland has a claim on this province.
Mm-hmm.
The claim is valid until May 1st, 1474. So if you're planning a war and it's been a long time since you picked up the claims, sometimes it's a good idea just to check out those expiration dates to make sure that
expired. Okay.
Yeah, they only last 25 years. So yeah, we've got till 74. We got 10 years, but it's just something to check on.
That's good to know.
Because if we if they were expiring in a year, we would want to start fabricating some spy network strength again, so we could re-up the claim as soon as we need it. But anyway, so let's go ahead. We'll just use auto fleet transport for this one.
We can hire another ship right now. Should we do that? I think we should.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, and I'm just gonna take it out of the cheapest place I can find. Doesn't really matter, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 358. I suppose is slightly better. Okay.
We've got the danger alert saying you're at low maintenance while you're at war, which is that's fine though. You can right click it to dismiss it temporarily.
Okay.
The next time that situation happens, it will still pop up.
Okay.
So have you used? I don't think you've used auto fleet transport yet.
No.
Or we may have briefly talked about it at one point, but go ahead, just select the army that's in Sweden right now, and just right click on any province that's in our land. Like we want to send them to Ireland, so send them down to like Cork or Leinster or something.
Okay.
You're
would you like to use the automatically transferred? Yes, I would like to use First Fleet to transport army. Okay.
Yep. Now, if you want to know more about it, that fleet, the 5 stack of transports, the one that's in the coast of Holland right now, if you go select that, you'll notice that there is one of the boxes that you can check has like a glowing circle, square, like rotating thing.
Mm-hmm. Just disable automatic fleet.
That is an option that will allow it to be used for automatic transportation. If you don't want your fleet to be used for that, you just turn that off, and then that fleet will never get asked to take on the duties of moving troops around.
Got it.
So what it's going to do is it's just going to go back and forth and move those troops 5 at a time.
Which is what we want right now.
Yeah, it's not as efficient as if you did it yourself, unfortunately.
Okay.
And the only reason for that is that instead of the boat docking in the province, and then the army just instantly getting out of the boats and then the boats leaving, they will march onto the sea tile adjacent. You can see they're doing it right now. They've split into 3 stacks. Now they're marching into the sea tile of Kattegat.
Okay.
Marching from neutral territory to a sea tile takes 12 days, whereas for a boat to move from a sea tile to an actual province is like 2 or 3 days at most. So it's faster to do it manually, but this is just much, much easier and lazier.
Okay.
You have a pop-up, I assume?
Yes. Conflicts and protests over taxes, corporations, port duties, navy requisitions, trade, and custom policies were quite frequent and often had counterproductive effects. We have a reduced trade investment where we lose 50 diplomatic power, and the burgher estate loses 10 loyalty. And they're only currently at 45, so losing 10 is kind of a big deal, right? And
yeah, we would hit that 40% loyalty breakpoint and get a trade efficiency penalty.
And the second one is get rid of the troublemakers, where you lose 1 mercantilism, which I don't know what that means.
Okay, that's a tough call. There's a couple of factors that go into this decision right now. Number one, if you recall last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago now, we actually took our first idea group. We chose a diplomatic idea group, which means Right now, we have a huge upcoming expense in diplomatic points that we want to get done as quickly as possible.
Yep.
As soon as you unlock an idea group, you want to fill it as fast as you can. So losing diplo points right now would be bad. That's one factor. Second factor, mercantilism is really freaking awesome, and you almost never want to lose mercantilism. So let's just talk about what that is. Go F1 and then go to your trade tab.
Okay.
Which should be 5. You can see a whole slew of numbers and modifiers and stuff here. Let's just briefly talk about what all these things mean. So trade efficiency, that's one of those numbers that you get from your diplomatic technology, comes from random events and stuff. If you hover over the number, again, there's always going to be a tooltip giving you the breakdown. It can never be higher than 200%. It can also never be lower than 1% for some reason. So if you have 10% trade efficiency and you take an event that lowers you by 20, you'll actually only go down to 1. Don't know why. It's just that is the way it is. So so that's one number. Trade range influences how far you can reach the nodes. Trade steering is a multiplicative additional modifier that you get when you are directing trade from one node to a different node.
Okay.
So it just pretends like you have more trade power. Global trade power is just another separate multiplicative modifier from trade efficiency. Global trade power is modified by prestige, stability, power projection, a bunch of other stuff. Mercantilism is the one in question right now, and mercantilism is incredibly important for one main reason. This affects pretty much your trade power in the entire planet. So if you hover over mercantilism, you can see it gives the following benefits: provincial trade power modifier plus 20%, and it also increases your embargo efficiency. So every province, if you click on like our capital, Lothian, Lothian generates very, very bottom left corner, you can see a trade section. You've got goods produced value and trade power. The trade power we're getting out of Lothian is 13.4. 13.4 is, let's see.
19.4?
Sorry,
it says base of 13.
19,
okay.
Yeah, the base is 13.4. The actual is 19.4 because of the actual trade power efficiency, the fact that it's coastal, et cetera, all that stuff. So the 13.4 is coming from the fact that we've got a coastal center of trade, the actual provincial modifier, gives local trade power plus 10. And then the other 3.4 out of the base comes from 2 times, actually it's 0.2 times your development. So 17 times 0.2 is 3.4.
Okay.
So every development, regardless of type of development, whether it's military, diplomatic, or military, will all give you 0.2 trade power. So this mercantilism number gives you more trade power in every province. And there's one main reason why mercantilism is incredible to stack over the course of an entire game. There's this thing in the game called trade power propagation. God, this game is so freaking complicated. I can't believe I've played this game for so long and I don't even think about most of this stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, that's how it works. But trying to explain it and just like, I'm getting myself overwhelmed thinking about all the things we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Go to the trade power map for me, if you will.
Okay. T or Y or something. Y, there it is.
It's Y for us, but yeah. Then go ahead and click on like the North Sea node.
Okay.
You got 4 columns on the right-hand side of this table. The first one is the trade power that you're gaining from ships. We don't have any ships protecting trade right now in the North Sea. The second is your provincial trade power summary. So you can see we have 64.3 provincial trade power. If we increase mercantilism, this number goes up. If we decrease mercantilism, this number goes down. Okay. Now, the total is on the far right. That's your current trade power. That's the first column plus the second column multiplied by the third column equals 115.1. Okay? When you hover over the 115.1, you'll notice we got from provinces plus 64.3 from the main trade city in the area, and then multiplied by the 66.1% increased trade power modifier in the node. Okay, so all of that just to get you ready to understand what trade power propagation is. Now, from the North Sea, while on the trade map, do you see the arrows coming into and out of that sea tile?
Yes.
So the outputs are where trade can be steered to.
Yeah.
The inputs are where the trade is coming from.
Right.
Any node that exists upstream from your node, you will propagate trade power to. So, for example, let's follow the arrows that are coming from the north.
Go to the one that goes to the White Sea.
Yeah, let's go all the way. Let's go take a look at the North Sea trade node now.
Okay.
Notice that we have 17.5 trade power here, and we have no provinces whatsoever over here at all. Hover over the 17.5, and you can see we have this thing called transfers from traders downstream plus 12.8. Now, if you do the math on it, you'll find that 20% of your provincial trade power gets propagated to every node upstream from the node you are gaining that provincial trade power.
I'm getting a little bit lost in the complexity here.
Okay. All I'm trying to explain is why mercantilism is incredibly valuable.
Okay. What happens if we go beneath 0 diplomatic power?
Then you just have to wait until you recover. You can go negative. You can't go below like negative.
Okay.
Yeah, you go
Next question. What happens when the burgers get below 40% loyalty?
In our current situation, they would become, if you hover over the trade efficiency in the estates tab, you'll see that if their loyalty is below 40%, the current effect would be negative 5% trade efficiency and plus 5% development cost.
Sorry, that is, so it will go from, instead of having plus 10% trade efficiency, it will go to negative 5%.
Yep, just look at the tooltip.
Yeah,
it says right now.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was what it would change by, if that would what it would result in. Okay, and how long, so let me see how much they trend. Their current monthly trend is 0.09. That's so little. So it's going to be a while if we did that before they came back, because they'll be at 35, and it's going to be like, a fuck ton. Okay.
So to avoid not unpausing the game again this episode, let me just finish my one last thought on mercantilism.
Okay.
And explain one thing. This is again, I have to get this out, otherwise I'm going to lose my mind here.
Mm-hmm.
Mercantilism is incredibly important because trade power propagation only happens from provincial trade power. So boats do not propagate trade power upstream. So if you want to be an incredibly influential trade nation, you need to stack mercantilism to increase your provincial trade power so you can get that free trade power propagation. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So all that being said, unfortunately,
no. I think why don't we just grant them a monopoly charter, which will cost us some prestige. We'll give them some prestige, so that gives them loyalty. Then we'll accept this negative loyalty once we don't have to get the mercantilism hit. And I know we'll lose 50 diplomatic power, and that will be a pain in the ass, but that's not that much, right? Rather than influencing this permanent one that's going to have all these trade ramifications when we're going a trade-based economy.
Okay. So see, I would actually go the opposite direction. Even though I just said mercantilism is amazing, based on our current situation, I would actually take a 1% hit to mercantilism. Normally, I would never do that. But because we took a diplomatic idea group first, and because we're going down this route of trying to become, we would rather have the extra merchants sooner. We would rather power through the idea group. I don't want to piss off the burgers. I would take it, but I just wanted you to kind of understand the gravity of like how significant.
But you've given me too many details, and then emphasize how important this one is for me to feel okay with that now. Why don't we just temporarily? Why don't we just take this diplomatic hit? We'll slow us down a little bit.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah. You do it.
Okay.
You do what you want.
I do. I want to do that.
You've been presented with the options. You know.
Okay.
You know now. You know what you do.
Okay. Done.
I'm gonna build another ship for you.
And we gained trade efficiency.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, so you did do the prestige hit to re-please them. Mm-hmm. We do have our disaster still building up with the nobility.
Okay.
One thing we could potentially consider here is if we could get the burghers to have more influence, we could demand diplomatic support from them, which would allow us to knock out another idea sooner.
Okay.
We get those 50 points right back, but that would again take them below the loyalty threshold. So.
Well, once we kick over some of this crap, Kildare or Clan Ricard, perhaps we can gift them some land or something.
How are we doing on leader slots?
Okay. Let's go have a look.
Military tab, we've got one leader, Wallace the Girthy, Wallace Randolph. Mm-hmm. Wish you could rename them; that'd be awesome. But
where do I see that? So I see our advisors, but this is different than the leaders tab, huh?
It's the military tab, F1, F2.
Okay.
Military shortcut. And then you see where Wallace the Girthy or Wallace Randolph is on the right side. You see it right above that. 1 leader's 1 out of 2.
Yeah.
The reason I'm looking to see how many leader slots we have is that there's a interaction we could do with the estate right now, the burghers.
Okay.
Called Grant Admiralship. It would increase their influence by 20. Because they have enough influence now that they're above 40%, we can actually do some of these interactions, and it would probably be a good idea to get a free admiral with 40 tradition. It would raise their influence, which would give us more trade efficiency, and potentially allow us to demand more diplomatic points and do other stuff with them. It'd be a good idea to do that right now.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So now we have a naval leader as well.
Let's see what good. We're starting to build a navy. We had that mission to build the navy, so
not bad. Scott Knox is a 202. So you'll notice now in the leaders list we've got the ground leader, and then we got the admiral himself. Obviously, admirals can only lead navies. Generals can only lead armies.
How are the fire phase and shock phases weighted in naval combat? Similar in the early game? Is shock better than fire in general? No.
No, not at all. There's no difference between the phases at all. It still does use the phase system. It'll still do fire first, then shock, then fire, then shock. It's still 4 total phases before you can retreat, etc.
Okay.
But there's no like certain units have better pips for one or thing or the other.
Okay.
So since we have that admiral, we might as well appoint him to our navy that is protecting trade. Since he has 2 maneuver, he's going to increase the trade power the ships provide by 10%. So that's like adding an extra 10% ships.
Okay, so I assume I have to go do that. I tried to do it from clicking on the admiral and it didn't let me do anything, so I assume that means I must click on the fleet instead.
Yeah, just like if you were signing a general. Yep.
Okay, and no leader. I click on no leader, and then I click on Scott Knox. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And now you'll notice when you, if you were looking at like the English channel, you will notice that we do end up with it's 5% extra trade power per 1 maneuver.
Cool.
So just like movement speed for generals.
Okay. And the other thing I just wanted to check was I wanted to check on the timing on our ships. We needed, you said 22? No, what did you say?
If I remember, yeah, 22. And I queued up a second one while you were doing stuff out of one of the lower cost provinces.
So we're getting pretty close though, right? I guess, okay. 22.
Yeah,
we're
do you
at
remember?
17. No, we're not that close. Okay.
Do you remember the days when France used to give us subsidies? That was glorious.
What do you mean the days? It was literally a day. We got like half a month of that.
I know, that would be so nice though if he could just give us a few more. Like, I really feel like if we had not had to break up our recording session, my experience has been that the AI will not recalculate stuff like that. Like they'll make the decision, hey, I want to support the Scots, and they'll set up war subsidization or whatever it's called, just regular subsidies, and they'll do like a 20-year period of time, and until that 20-year period is up, they'll just keep doing it forever. But if you reload the game, they recalculate. So I think if we had kept playing, we would have still had those subsidies for a very long time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate how that works.
Yep. Anyway, well, I guess we have to take a break here. I spent the entire episode talking about mercantilism.
It's okay.
So
all I learned from that was there's really complicated. I can look into that later, and it's good. That's what I got from it.
All you really need to know as a new player is mercantilism is a very, very good stat if you're trying to make money from trade. And trade is one of the best ways to make way more money than you're supposed to relative to the size of your nation.
Awesome. But this is probably the place we need to cut it. So see you guys soon.
All right, we'll see you in a bit.